ANIMPACT stands for an ethical, legal and practical perspective on the impact of a new regulatory framework for the scientific use of animals on research and innovation. That is not a particularly short and simple title. The call in which this project was funded has an equally complicated title: Interactions between EU legislation and health research and/or innovation and the effects of its application and implementation of health research and/or innovation. So this was the last call in health in FP7, or one of the last calls. There were several in parallel, through which this project was funded. The project started on the 1st of October in 2013, and it's in its last month now. It ends in the end of this year. The project involves 6 countries. Portugal is coordinating. Germany, Denmark, Italy, Netherlands and the UK are also represented, as you have seen from the members of the team. And the project addresses how Directive 2010/63/EU interacts with research by looking at decision-making mechanisms and norms and rules that are internal and external to research. So it's not focusing exclusively on the directive. Obviously the directive is important in this time and in Europe, but we've looked at how animal research is being regulated in a wider sense. So we've hypothesized that there are norms and rules that are external to research and that there are norms and rules that are internal to research, and that there is also an intersection where these two sets of norms and rules actually work together. The most obvious external mechanism we have is legislation, which is imposed upon research. Research is obviously part of or has a saying in the development of legislation, but once legislation exists, it's really something that is imposed from the outside. There is a part of legislation which involves research community very much in a flexible and interactive kind of dialogue, and that's the ethics evaluation. And I'm using ethics evaluation here, very aware of that the directive actually does not use the word ethics evaluation, but across Europe, in most places, that's how we are used to talking about this as Animal Ethics Committee and Ethics Review. So this is where external and internal norms meet. Then we have areas of research which are, we have the sphere of where the norms and the rules that are internal to the scientific community are really the ones that are in operation. And that can be what the scientific community or scientists make decisions over the work of other scientists, so in peer review for funding and for journals, and then closest to home when individual scientists or research groups make decisions about how to do their own work. So we are addressing all these different areas in different ways within the project. We have looked at the external, the norms and rules external to research, the legal norms and the licensing process, the ethical norms and the ethical review process, and the mechanisms internal to research. We have addressed how the 3 R's are considered in peer review and how researchers select animal species. And at the intersection of external and internal norms, we've looked at how those being regulated, so those who actually carry out or are stakeholders in animal research, how they perceive regulation. The team is highly interdisciplinary. It involves people with expertise in neuroscience, veterinary medicine, biology, animal welfare science, social sciences, philosophy, and law. It involves 7 senior researchers, 6 of whom are here, and 9 junior researchers, 2 of whom are present here today. And the methodology used is also multidisciplinary. We've used systematic reviews, questionnaires, and interviews in different formats to produce the information that we will be presenting this afternoon. And bringing the setup of the project together with what the program for today is, we'll follow the organization of the program. So we will start with David Townend, who will present work that has to do with the legal norms under the title Questions for and from the Transposition of the Directive. I will follow with a work on the ethics review or the project review, how is review and authorization of animal research organized across Europe. Then we move over to the norms that are internal to research, and we'll continue with Andrew Farley, who will talk about to what extent is animal research regulated in the publication process. And after that, Augusto Vitala will talk about factors that affect species choice, researchers' choice of species when they use animal models. And finally, at the intersection of internal and external norms, Peter Sander will talk about how current EU legislation is perceived by bench scientists.